Everybody, I'm Brian Julius. I'm the Chief Content Officer for Enterprise DNA, and I'm here today with Federico Pastor, our King of Challenges, and our esteemed judging panel for Challenge 22, Jarrett Moore and Heather Rowe, both longtime members of the Enterprise DNA expert team and professional Power BI developers who've got a long range and breadth of experience with different types of reports, different types of clients. So they're going to be bringing that knowledge to the judging here today. So we want to jump right in, but before we do, I wanted Federico to just kind of run through a brief overview of what we saw in Challenge 22 from the entrance that we got.
Thank you, Brian. First of all, Jarrett and Heather, thank you for being here today. I feel like the new guy in this group with Brian, Jarrett, and Heather. So thank you very much for helping me out. 51 entries for a semi-complex data set with not much information about how to come up with some of the numbers. So we are again very, very happy in Enterprise DNA, not only with the number of participation, but the quality of some of the report. I want to congratulate every one of the participants. The new guys, well done to be able to put your report into our challenger. The guys who are doing well to keep bringing super excellent, good-looking report with the right numbers. Overall, keep going. We are very, very happy. We want you to keep participating. Challenge us. We want you to challenge the expert, to challenge Gustav, to challenge Federico, to challenge Brian, Jarrett, and Heather, and knock us down. We want you to beat us. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Federico. Okay, so we're gonna jump right in. We've got 6 categories to go through. So Heather is gonna start off and take us through the non-member category.
So for the non-member category nominees, we had Wanderson Barbosa, Jirson Aralucia, and Manish Asharia. And I apologize if I got anybody's name wrong. This is Midwest America talking to you. So our winner in the non-member category was actually Jirson. So one of the things that we really liked about this particular report was that it was nicely laid out. There are some good use of the tooltips to give you some information about what's going on down here in the line chart. And it's very simple for the user to navigate through and to see what it is they're wanting to look at, whether it's the agents or details on the KPIs. Another piece that was a very nice bit here was that the filter panel collapses very well. So it's really simple to go through and to filter this however you need to. And then, as always, a good link back to who the developer was. It's nice to know where your insights are coming from. Back to you.
Thanks, Heather. And
yes.
What we're going to do now is we're going to have Jarrett talk about the experts past winner category. This is a relatively new category that we've created. That originally we had said the Enterprise DNA experts were not going to be eligible, but we want to encourage their participation as well and recognize the efforts they put in as well as the past winners. And so we've kind of created a separate category for those. And so Jarrett was going to talk through the nominees and the winner on that one.
All right, in this category, we narrowed down to 3 folks here, and they were Gustav Dudek, Camilo Corrales Gallo, and Kamal Bhatt. And the winner is Gustav. And it's pretty. Let me share my screen here, and I'll show that report there. Set up on the screen now?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, Gustav, we really liked. Obviously, it's a little bit different than we're used to seeing from Gustav, because he traditionally has the dark background with the lighter. But he changed his overall theme up a little bit. But definitely overall was just a top notch report from just everything, except for, even though it wasn't even we did notice that some of the bookmarks here on the left hand side were not implemented or completed yet. I mean, even with that not being completed, this in our opinion was still one of the top reports out there in the expert category there.
And Jarrett, can you talk through kind of some of the particular things that you liked, both analytically and presentation wise?
Well, presentation wise, I don't think there's too many people out there that do it better than Gustav. It's definitely, with his bookmarks here, with the arrows here to navigate from page to page. You almost don't even need the panel over here to the left to go back from pages to pages. I love how he sets up his navigation through here to switch through the different days, weeks, months, and et cetera over there. And then also the KPI cards at the very top. It's very easy to read as you go through the report here. And he adds a little bit of color to it as well that just helps everything just pop out. And it's just an overall, it's just a great report, even though some of the stuff wasn't finished.
And yeah, thanks for that assessment. And I do want to kick this one back to Heather, because as we were talking about the judging on this, she had some really interesting perspectives in terms of kind of the types of things that her clients like to see, and things that she really found worth calling out in Camilo's report. So I wanted to spend a little more time in this category and have Heather talk through just briefly what she found really valuable in this report.
So in Camilo's report, one of the things that to me really stood out was the simplicity of the data. It's beautiful to see reports like Gustav's, and as report designers, we love to be able to build reports like that. But I find in my day-to-day work with Power BI, it's more Camilo's type of report that my users want to see. They want to be able to very quickly glance at and see nice, big, clear numbers. They don't want a lot of clutter on the screen. And the grid pattern layout, as Sam has told us many times, is always a nice thing to see in what you're doing. When I go further into the report, what really stood out to me is the fact that Camilo took the time to implement a very simple navigation for his users to tell them, this is how you use my report. It's nice to remember that our end users are not all versed in how Power BI works. Some of them are seeing it for the first time when they see your report, and for some of them, it's nothing more than a web interface. So to show them that, hey, these are buttons, they do something, and this is what they do, I think it was very clear and concise, and it really stood out for me.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. I think those are great points, and I think definitely with regard to that help screen, something that I know I'm going to borrow for my future reports. So I appreciate you calling that out. Okay, so at this point, we want to have Jarrett go through the newcomers. We had a really strong batch of newcomer entries, and some of these are folks who are quite experienced Power BI developers and challenge participants, but are newcomers to our challenge. And so we always like to highlight the first time entrants and, appreciate the flow of newcomers that we've had coming into our challenges. So Jarrett was going to walk through that category and announce the winner there.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Yeah. In this category, the three folks that we had that we wanted to give recognition for this was Gerard Dugan, Balaji Olatandi, and Jerson Aralcia. Sorry if I butchered that. A little bit of a tongue twister there. And then what we had was in this category with the overall winner, we had it as Balaji. Just an overall great report here, and I'll pull that up here. Let me screen share my screen again, and we can go through this really quick. All right. What I liked about this report right here, it almost reminds me of a similar report I did in a previous challenge where I based it on the different categories like revenue. He has that grayish, dark color. He has reservations in blue and guests in sort of that like yellowish brown color there. But I did that in a previous challenge there, and I think that definitely. And then I think I did it by years. It would just I would distinguish the years, and not by categories. But this is a very well thought out reports to help. The colors are very, very simple. There's nothing outlandish here with the color choice. The report is not too busy, and there's great navigation to get from page to page throughout this report. And I just thought overall this was a, especially for a newcomer to, to our challenge. You can tell he's not a newcomer to Power BI, but this person was definitely Balaji did an excellent job with this report.
One of the things that we talked about that I really love in this report is a lot of times when you see KPI cards, you just see a big number. And I really like the fact that these KPIs provide context. They provide, the year over year, the month over month, the min, the max. It really gives a much deeper perspective on what that number is showing in the larger context. And I just, Jarrett, I agree. I thought this was beautifully done report. Like
the average daily rate there in that card there, I love how he used the min and the max. That way you can see the average, the overall average was 98, but you had a minimum of 33 and a max of 177. Very, very easy to see without having to dig through too much data. It's just very visually appealing.
Yeah, definitely agreed on that. So now we'll bounce back to Heather, and she's going to talk through the overall winner.
And not unexpectedly, we have some familiar names that we've already heard today. So we have Balaji, who was nominated also in the Newcomers category. We have Jarrett, who was also nominated in the Newcomers category. And then we have Wanderson, who was nominated earlier in the non-member category. And our pick was, see if I can get my screen share to work fast enough here, Jarrett. And one of the things that really stood out for us in this report, again, this is a very easy to navigate report. Everything seemed nicely laid out for everybody. We loved this notes page where we can see what the report designer meant by each of these things. The assumption was not made that people would understand RPD meant revenue per day. So if the users at any time need a refresher of what they're looking at, or if this is their first time through, this is an easy way to see this. Obviously, we've got the navigation between the years, which is nice and straightforward. Everything is, or many of the pieces are cross-filtered, so you can see the visuals change as you go through them. And it's a nice variance of the report metrics as well. You're not seeing the same visuals repeated on every single page, which is a refresher for the end user too.
Great. And it's interesting, Heather, one of the things that we talked about that we really liked about that report is the simplicity in color. It's all kind of along the same color gradient. It's easy on the eyes. It's not jarring, and that where there are changes in color, the changes mean something. So I agree. Overall, extremely well done report. So we wanted to also highlight two other kind of special awards that we do. The first of which is what Federico calls Creative Head. And I'll let him kind of explain what that is and what his choice on that one is.
Okay, and we have One Tech Chang as the winner of the Creative Head. I like the overall feeling of the report. So one is the overall color, the color palette. It's a bit perhaps too much, but at the same time it made you look at it. Okay, and my decision is based on how the report look. I'm not looking at the numbers right now. I don't care about the numbers. What I care is about how it look, how more time I would like to spend with it. And I found that it played very well. It moved around simply. It has a background image that I don't like it, but because it's kind of opacity is up, the image can be seen in the background, but it's not really distracting me from seeing the numbers. Navigation is simple. You got this little moving thing. It got this panel, filter panel. But what I love is that when you click in it tells you what kind of filters you have added to the report. So as soon as you go and carry on filtering, it tells you, hey, you have your filter is hotel type, your filter is others, and so on. You close it, it works, it doesn't. Oh, it's that way, sorry. Very simple, very seamless, no complication. And I like that when you play with buttons and open up or pop up. Menus and navigation bar that they are quite easy to open up and close down without complication. So my price, or whenever you want to call it, go to One Tech Chan.
Okay, so our last category is what we call out-of-the-box thinker. And as Federico said, Creative Head was focused on the presentation quality. Out-of-the-box thinker is really focused on the analytics. And in this case, I think the winner really knocked it out of the park in both categories. But I wanted to show you my winner here, who is Kamal Bhatt. And this report for me just, kind of scored in every area. And I could really see this being used as the foundation of a presentation, say, to the board. And love the way she organized the report along the navigational tabs as kind of an outline of the presentation. The depth of analysis, I think, is great here. And you can really see that what she's done is focused both on the use of visuals and the use of dynamic text in conveying these actionable insights in terms of these three particular recommendations to improve revenue. And then for each of those, when you drill down into the tab, it goes through the supporting analyses for how that recommendation would be implemented. And I just think it's clear, it's very, very well thought out in terms of the analysis, that I think it makes a kind of an initial statement and then does supplementary analyses to back up each of those contentions. Just really beautifully done all around. So that is my out-of-the-box thinker winner. And so we wanted to say congratulations to everybody. That there, as Federico said, there were 51 submissions. There were some great submissions even that we did not highlight, that really were very solid front to back. And so if your report didn't get called out, it doesn't mean that it wasn't worthy. It just meant that the pool that we have is really strong, and wanted to congratulate everybody who participated, the winners, the runners up, and everyone involved. And one of the nice things about the challenge rhythm that Federico has established is that there's always going to be something going on. And so as this one wraps up, he's got Challenge 23 basically ready to roll out shortly. So wanted to just take a couple of minutes to kick it over to Federico and have him just run through kind of what we can expect in Challenge 23.
So congratulations to the winners and to the runner-up. I want to bring the runner-up. Guys, well done, you are there. One thing that I like it when I started competing in enterprise DNA is to know that I'm going to start bothering Jarrett and Alex Badiou on what Federico going to bring. So if you are a runner-up, sign up. If you are a winner, congratulations. Challenge 23 is coming next week, and still deciding what exact day is going on. It is a very small data set. It's about the health industry and substances abuse. And it can prepare in a Power BI file for those who want to use a model on the shelf and report. And then you have the data set for the more experienced user to prepare the way they want to. We can see that report to be done in one page. There is no limitation. And there are a few questions to be answered that will be included in the brief. I really like this challenge because it's related to the health industry. The health industry is picking up quite a lot on Power BI and data analysis of late. So I would like to bring this new data set, make it simple for everybody, and I want everybody to participate and to engage with us in the forum. So next week, be ready. We come for you again, guys. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Federica. And I wanted to just say thanks to Jarrett and Heather for being here today, and also just for the hard work that goes on behind the scenes in terms of, reviewing 51 entries in the depth that they did takes some real work, and they put a lot of thought into it. And really appreciate your efforts and your perspectives. I think there's a lot to learn from what you called out in each of these reports. So thank you, everybody.
Jarrett and Heather.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And so we'll be back soon for Challenge 23. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.